I am so sorry that I was late. I don't know what mob of brain juice I was on today, but anyways, I had it at 7 o'clock everywhere online, and then in my calendar I had 11 o'clock, and in my brain I had 11 o'clock, but anyways, we're having a little bit of misconnection between what is and what was. So my sincerest apologies. I am so desperately sorry. I was on a mentoring call. Anyways, that was a bit crazy. So I wanted to just bring to you today how to avoid burnout as a kick-ass networking marketing entrepreneur. And what I really want to say to you is there's a lot of things that we can bring and do to help us as networking entrepreneur to really reduce this burnout. And I'm going to give you some statistics about it. And we are in a category of people who are highly burning out. And we also have some interesting traits as entrepreneurs. So this is kind of a funny little photo that I love. I think this reminds me of when we first start out with our networking business or as an entrepreneur, we think, oh, I have an idea. I have my thinking cap on. I have ideas. I have all this excitement. I have all this stuff coming on and going, wow, like just thinking, wow, what can I do? I'm so excited about, everything that I could be sharing, everything that I could be doing, all the people around me who are making more money than me or doing better than me, and feeling really, kind of in that comparison mode. And what I want to say to you is to make sure that when you are really starting out as an entrepreneur, that you really just take time to step back and just let those ideas marinate, because it's very easy to get trapped into this. I've had 2 clients in the last days with my coaching clients, and I've been saying to them, I want you to give space to the ideas, but I don't want you to get overwhelmed with them. I want you to be grateful for them, and I don't want you to be trapped in comparison, but I want you to be grateful for the ideas coming in and not judge them and not be overwhelmed by them. Because what can happen with us as entrepreneurs, we start to get this kind of, oh my God, there's so much to do. There's so much to do. I'm paralyzed by choice. I'm paralyzed by how much online training there is. I'm paralyzed by everyone else who's doing better than me or appears to be doing better than me. Because remember, what you see on social media is a projection of what people want to share with you. I'm not reaching the rank high enough. I'm not making enough sales, etc. So be really mindful that it's actually statistically relevant for entrepreneurs that this can actually happen, this burnout. So according to Gallup Wellbeing's Index, 45% of entrepreneurs report being stressed. Of 242 entrepreneurs in another study, 30% identified as being depressed compared to a national average of 7%. Entrepreneurial swagger is often a thin veneer masking crippling self-doubt, insecurity, and fear of catastrophic failure. The more successful you are, the more people depend on you, and the more is at stake if you fail. Now, I can relate to that. And there's some other statistics in there too, where a high percentage of entrepreneurs have a familial history of mental health issues. Now, I'm not saying that we all have mental health issues, but I am saying that entrepreneurs tend to be a certain type of people. They tend to be creative minds. They tend to sometimes look at external markers for success. We tend to be type A personalities who like to have a lot of control, that are high excellers, etc. And so when you throw everybody who is a high exceller type A into a big pool, you don't have a lot of balance. And you can really throw yourself off mentally and really kind of spiral out of control mentally and in your own self-worth, etc. when you're in as an entrepreneur, which can lead to burnout. Or you try to keep this entrepreneurial swagger up so high by doing so much that you end up burning out. I'm that person. Since I've joined with my network marketing company, I have put on at the moment 20 kilos, which I'm now working my way off. I have felt higher levels of anxiety than I've ever felt before. I've had migraines, which I've never had before. I've had issues sleeping consistently. I've had not necessarily depression, but just like, what the hell am I doing? But you continue to kind of go on this entrepreneurial high, this kind of I would say it's almost like a dopamine rush. Like you had an amazing class and you enrolled tons of people. You put an ebook out or an e-course out and you've had a ton of people sign up, and you are almost chasing that high all the time, because what you equate with success is from external markers. And I think that's important, because I think it's awesome and to be celebrated when you have really great success, but it's not sustainable. And what a lot of times happens, especially network marketing or an entrepreneurial type work, is that people start, they get super excited, they have a bit of success, and then it gets too hard and they forget to be balanced. And so what I'm going to present to you today is a very simple wheel chart, which my friend Allison from AJ the Health Coach gave me. So I'm going to give her credit for that. So if you are going to find her, go find her on Facebook or online. She's lovely. But there's a chart here, and you can make it now if you're joining in with me, and you can scribble this down on a piece of paper, and you can make whatever wheels you want to have in them. I've just picked these 6. So your company or your product or your brand is on one side, your time efficiency, self-care, friends and family, your why, and goal setting. So what you want to do with this is create a little tiny dot in the middle of your little pie sections there. And so what you do is, if you're doing really well with these, then you put your dot further out to the outside of this nice formed circle. If you feel like you're not doing as well in those areas, you bring the dot in the pie chart closer into the center of you, okay? So what it looks like is something like this. So I've got a really good connection to my company. I'm not being very time efficient. I'm not doing really well with self-care. I'm probably not spending enough time with friends and family. I definitely know my why. My goal setting is okay, and that's what it looks like. So what this gives you, and I actually need to redo this because it would change, because I've changed a little bit as well, is what you're aiming for is more of a circular pattern here, so that you're more balanced. So if I'm like, wow, I'm spending a lot of time with my company and goal setting my why, but I'm not spending much time being time efficient and self-caring with my friends and family, and I'm craving that and I feel imbalanced, I need to push that out. So this is a really good visual representation of what you can achieve and how you can be a bit more balanced in your life. So if you're killing it with your business but you're not sleeping, then you have to say, is this a kind of a short-term thing where I'm killing it with my business? Or do I need to spend a little bit more time on myself and pull back a little bit on my business? Or can I expand all the way out? I'm going to give you guys some tips on how to do that. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go through each pie chart here, because I want to talk about each of these 6 areas. And I didn't change that. So it shouldn't say doTERRA, it should say your company, but I'll just pick doTERRA because that's what I do. And then your company can just be up there. So if you did Isogenics or Jamboree, or you're your own entrepreneur, you would just change that title there. So the first thing is your why. Now, I watched a really great video by Tiffany Peterson. You guys could go watch it, about goal setting. And one of the things that she talked about the most is that most of us are really good at goal setting and are quite able to goal set. But what tips us from accomplishing our goals and not accomplishing our goals is what she refers to as motivation, or your why. So your why is a whole other presentation, but your why is really about understanding your values and goals. So why do you value self-care? What are your goals around changing your life? Or what are your goals in your business, your values and goals? Because what this does is it helps you to flesh out your brand. And when you have a really clear brand about what you value and goal in your company, what your values and goals are in your company, and having a clear vision, that will help you to reduce that anxiety and will also help you to be a lot more centered and more efficient in what you do. So your values and goals exemplify the foundation for your motivation for any sort of change. So could it be losing weight, sleeping more, hanging out with your friends? Why do you value that, and what are your goals around it? That's foundational for any motivation. But this then, from a business perspective, feeds into your brand and what you're known for, and then that feeds into what you put online and what type of classes and products you have for your marketing, and that will increase your sales. A lot of times when we're burning out, we don't actually have a clear value and goal. We're just kind of like moving forward, trying to focus on hitting sales as high as possible, when really we need to go back to our values and goals and really flesh that out. So if you want extra help with that, you can always message me for private coaching. I also have an e-package as well that I go through more of this. But simply, you can do this activity yourself with doing a Venn diagram, write your values and goals, your values and beliefs on one side, your goals on the other, and then consolidating those two brainstorms out into figuring out what actually is your why. Because your why is your motivation. So if you want to change your life and you want to get out of burnout, you can say to yourself, why do you value and believe, what do you value and believe about having a balanced, less burned out type of a life? What are your goals? What does it look like for you? What do you want to pull back on? What do you want to change? And why is it important that you not burn out? Or why do you feel so disconnected with what you're doing in your business? Because you haven't fleshed out your business brand. So what are the values and beliefs for your company, your products, your entrepreneurial spirit? What goals do you have this year? And then flush that out into your why. So why are you going to promote this product? Why are you going to continue to promote yourself as an entrepreneur? What is it that you really want to bring to the universe? This is really important for change and really important for helping you be more efficient down the track, which is one of the areas that we're going to talk about. And one of the things for me is that my why in life is empowering women using doTERRA for holistic change and financial freedom. Now, even just looking at that, I think, you know what? I think my why has changed a little bit. So in this time of season of change and this time of season of really wanting to push forward and move on, you can reevaluate these values and goals for anything in your life so that you really feel synergistically aligned. I know that when I'm feeling burned out, I don't know why I'm doing something, or I'm doing something because I feel like I need to do something. So for example, with my weight, I have spent an exorbitant amount of time and money trying to lose weight because I've always created a why around being thin or feeling pressured to lose weight, or I have to lose weight to be successful. Now, all of that is just crap that I fed myself, and it has driven me in the past, but it hasn't driven me now. And so what I have to think about is, well, why do I now want to lose weight? What is going to drive me to lose weight? And to be honest, it has been a spiritual thing for me. It has been something very deep and intrinsically spiritual for me about feeling as though I have to honor the body that I have and how grateful, and living in a place of gratitude and serving my body in a way where it can feel the best, because I value and believe that I deserve to feel the best. So when we feel like we're not reaching goals or burning out, it's often because we don't understand the values and beliefs around that thing that we want to change or the brand that we have, and we don't have clear goals. So this is something that's really foundationally important to burnout. And what a lot of people do in entrepreneurial world is trying to chase their tail, I call it, where you're trying to be the best, the biggest, the brightest, the most money, this, that, and the other. And you burn out because what you're making yourself do isn't actually aligned with what you really believe. And sometimes we get really scared about releasing that kind of chasing tail mentality, up one, up one, up one, up one, do more, bang, 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 because we feel like if we don't do that, then we won't be able to pull back and still be successful. But what I will say to you is that if you align yourself synergistically with your values and goals and beliefs, you will be more successful in your business long term because you will be more authentic in how you approach your business. So your why really is about your classes, being online, your builders if you have a network marketing team, your follow-up, everything about what you do then and what you project and how you live your life is about foundationally around your why. So this is really crucial. And the same thing could be for losing weight or avoiding burnout this year. Why do you want to avoid burnout? What do you value and believe about yourself that allows you to avoid burnout, or you want to have a more balanced life? Well, why do you value and believe a more balanced life, and what are your goals? And then everything about your life and your business around that becomes aligned with that. So one of the things that I've realized this year is I value and believe my health and wellness and my ability to be more available to my family. So that means that my business is going to change. I don't work now. I don't take hardly any appointments on Mondays and Fridays, and I am resolving to have one day off a weekend as much as possible without any classes. I'm making my leaders book online with me. I'm not doing any more back and forth stuff. I'm putting more responsibility on my leaders. I'm doing follow-up more strategically with the company that I'm working with. So I'm saying right now for 2017, I'm not burning out because I value and believe my health so much. And my goal is to have a more streamlined business where I'm really working with people who want to work with me because I'm not fearful anymore. So that permeates my whole entire life. So with that being said, this goes into goal setting, which I think is really, really important. And I think is part of a really important part of what you can do with your life. So when I say goal setting, again, if we don't focus on our why, we won't have clear goals about what we want. And if we're goal setting for rank advancement and all this other stuff that doesn't actually feel good to us, we'll never get that goal. But I also want to say with this as well, as a double-edged sword, just to make it more complex, is that if we don't actually goal set, we have no accountability. And that can be with anything. My goal or my commitment is I'm not going to work on Mondays and Fridays. And so that's my goal. And so my accountability is that in my calendar, I say unavailable. And I may slide one person if it's an immediate thing, but I have in my calendar as a goal for myself with an accountability of I don't work Mondays and Fridays. And so it's really simple, but really important to have really good goal setting. So what I want to do is right now, I want to kind of walk you through a little bit of brainstorming around goal setting. Now, this is obviously something you can come back and listen to later on. But when you're looking at your goals, what are your goals for this year? And I love this quote a lot, actually, from Brendan Burchard. And if you don't follow him on podcasting or online, he's very good to follow. He's very American though, so he's really rah-rah. But he's not too rah-rah. He's actually quite good. Bring forth a desire that is unbounded and even scares you a little bit, that will demand all the best that is in you, that takes you out of your own orbit and into the stratosphere of the remarkable. That kind of desire changes your life and it changes the world. I love this quote. And I love this quote because it's not about making a ton of money and, doing all of this stuff that is going to make you be bigger under the spotlight if you don't want to. But how awesome would it be to live a life where you feel like it's remarkable? And you know what? That remarkable can be defined however the hell you want to define it. If that means that you are spending uninterrupted time with your children all the time, do it. If that means that you have a yacht in the Caribbean where you go 3 weeks a year that you unplug and that's a remarkable life, then do it. But what I love about this quote is how can you create a remarkable life right now? And sometimes what happens as an entrepreneur is the remarkable life isn't exactly what you thought it was going to be. And sometimes for me, even being successful in doTERRA and doing what I do, I've had to think, well, how the hell do I actually want to live a remarkable life? What does that look like? Does it look like gaining another 100 kilos so that I can be the top leader? Or does it mean that I'm really grateful for what I have and allowing myself to think outside of the box and do, coaching or do other things that really bring me a lot of joy? And sometimes that's releasing what we think we want and actually align ourselves what we really want. And sometimes that is killing it in your business because that allows you the financial abundance or freedom to do the things that you want to do. But what I say to you is that no matter what you do, if you focus on valuing and believing and goal setting around a remarkable life, you will have so much more to give to yourself and to your team when you harness that ability. So this is from Leonie Dawson. If you guys don't follow her, she's awesome as well. 80% of people don't write down any goals at all. 16% of people think about them but don't write them down. 3% of people write them down but don't review them. And 1% of people write down their goals, regularly review them, and they are also the highest income earners or most successful in their business. We choose not to write down goals because we are afraid of failure. We are afraid it's going to be too hard. We are afraid that it's going to be too much work. We aren't expectant of what we actually could create. There's a lot of reasons why we don't write down goals, and most of it is because we live in fear of failure. And if this is something that you're struggling with, I would highly suggest that you get the book Big Magic by Elizabeth Gilbert and read it front to back and back to front and sideways and upside down and mark it and highlight it and marinate in it because it will shake the fear out of you. And once you don't have fear, Once you allow yourself to embrace the fear, but then to feed the creativity, you allow yourself to goal set and plan. So just some ideas of bringing yourself into 2017 with the idea of avoiding burnout and what you really want in life is to really look at how you want to feel personally. So if you're feeling really fried and burned out from 2016, or maybe you don't feel fried and burned out, but you really want to push your business, but you don't want to become burned out, I would highly suggest that you look at some personal goals. So how do you want to feel this year? How do you want to feel in your business? If you were standing on top of a stage, or you were at a book launch, or you were at a class or workshop, or you're doing a webinar online, how would you want people to feel that you were feeling? What would you like to put into focus for yourself this year? What do you want to learn? Are there any books that you've been hanging out to get? I just got 4 new books. I'm so excited. I'm actually going to carve time out. Yes, I'm going to leave my mobile phone in my office charging. Nothing's going to explode or die in the middle of the night if I don't have my phone right by my bed, where I'm constantly a slave to technology. And I'm going to have books by my bed. And I'm really actually so craving it. And I'm really addicted to social media. It's a really high addiction for a lot of people. It's very dopamine inducing. Our brain loves to be acknowledged and awarded constantly by the constant badgering of social media. So one of the things, if you want to have personal goals and you know that you have not a huge amount of time, is to put your technology away at nighttime, so you allow yourself to really do a little bit of personal development either in the mornings or at nighttime, so you're not distracted by that constant feed of, yay, someone like me, or no one liked me, and then you kind of spiral into despair. What other goals would you like to accomplish personally? Business goals. What are your top 3 business goals? So what are your business goals? And I think before you write those business goals, you need to flush out your values and beliefs and your goals in that Venn diagram and really marinate on what you want to create from a business perspective. Who do you want to make, who do you want to make people, how do you want to make people feel when they're part of your business on your team? And how can you plan ahead for your team, trainings, promos, and incentives, which is really important, which we'll talk about as a way to avoid burnout in the coming year. But I think I love the question, which I need to do editing on, but how do you want to make people feel when they are part of your business? How do you want to make people feel when they're part of your business, or when they've signed up for coaching, or they purchased your products? How do you want them to feel? I know that at the end of 2016, my leaders were burned out. Like, my top leaders were fried. They were fried pickles, and they were bouncing off of my energy. And so I just pulled back. I've said, you know what, I need to pull back. They need to pull back. We all need to pull back, because I don't want to be burned out. And I definitely don't want my leaders to be burned out. I don't want us all to get across the quote unquote proverbial finish line and just collapse. I want them to feel really inspired and empowered and spiritually centered in my business. And I want my team of users in doTERRA, or however that works for you in your company or your clients, to really feel empowered as well, because you're giving that to them as well. And lastly, how can you anchor your daily goals? And I say this because it's really important for you to make sure that you have a daily plan, because if you don't change a daily habit, you won't change your life. So if you really want to, focus on, taking care of yourself, then you need to turn your phone off so that you can get up in the morning, so you're not up until 11 o'clock at night watching stuff on, YouTube or Facebook that's really irrelevant and not pushing you towards your goals. Now, I love this analogy as well when you're goal setting, of having a RAD goal. So a reasonable goal, like reasonable to maintain rank, or, to earn this amount of money per month. What's a reasonable goal? An action-filled goal. So the A, meaning that you're going to have to work for it, but you definitely have the ability to really create that if you put forth energy and intention to nurturing yourself, your team, and your vision. So align yourself with that vision. And then your dream. So man, wow, that would be like absolutely incredible. And I'm definitely going to get it. It may not happen in the next 12 months, but I'm so looking forward to that. So maybe that's the yacht on the 3 weeks in the Caribbean that maybe isn't going to happen right now, but your reasonable and action-filled goals are going to help you get to your dreams. And I put this up here because I know a lot of you will hold yourself back, as I talked about earlier with Elizabeth Gilbert, because of your fear of failure and reaching out and, oh my God, what if this happens and things like that. So don't be afraid of your ability to fly. And aliveness happens in action. I know it's all well and good to fill stuff out and write goals and do all that planning, but if you don't have any action around what you're doing, if you don't create a plan and create a commitment that's valued and based in your why for the change or the goals that you want in your brand, you won't do anything. And so many people, like Leonie Dawson said, don't write down goals, don't think about goals and don't write them down. But the people who are writing them down and the people who are actually reviewing them are having aliveness. And any change in life, you have to have aliveness to make action happen. So your company. So if it's your company or if it's new leads or whatever, the thing is that I love this. Go into recruit mode and your team will go into recruit mode. So often, and I'm in this mode right now actually, where I have been, like, I wouldn't call micromanaging it, but when we micromanage our team, or we're micromanaging our clients, or we're trying to get them to buy more stuff, and they don't want to, and you feel like you're kind of hitting a dead wall, it's time to go out. It's time to go back into recruit mode. So it's an ebb and flow in network marketing of working on your leaders and developing your leaders, and then going out and finding new leads. It can't just be always about new leads. You do have to nourish the people who've already invested in you as well. So it's about balancing that. So if you're feeling a little bit stuck, if you're feeling a little bit like, ugh, what do I do? Then what I would say to you is maybe you need to go into recruit mode. Or if you've gone into recruit mode and it's a really brand new, fresh team, it might be that you need to now pull back and work on your system so that you're not burning out and constantly answering the 5,000 question game. I love this. You will get all you want in life if you help enough other people get what they want. So if you are feeling like you're out of touch with your leaders, then maybe you need to go ask your leaders, what do you value and believe? What are your goals? What's your why? Also helping your team, your leaders, your clients really see what they want, and helping other people get to their goals will help you get to your goals. And it will also help both of you personally develop. I loved a quote recently. I put it in the newsletter, about Jennifer Moss saying, I realized that I had to bring other women along with me. I couldn't just do it myself. And so she shares a story of childcare centers where she allowed people to work up through ranks and leadership. And then she basically handed over the childcare center and said, here, you manage it. It's yours completely. And she said that she realized that she couldn't micromanage their leadership, that she had to allow them to fail so they could learn, and that she helped them become stewards. She was a steward of that person's journey, not a dictator of it. I loved that. And I think this is like one of the most powerful quotes. If this is all you take away from this webinar, is work harder on yourself than you do on your job. If you work hard on your job, you can make a living. If you work hard on yourself, you can make a fortune. Income seldom exceeds personal development. I love this because what I see a lot as entrepreneurs, and especially as network marketing, is that they only identify, they become a complete tunnel vision focus of make money, and all they are is that product or that thing. You are so much more dynamic than just the product that you have. And that's why when you're looking at avoiding burnout, you have to recognize that it's not just doTERRA. That I myself, doTERRA is a part of my life. So is my family, so is my health, so is my spiritual health, so is personal development. And oftentimes when I felt the most burnout was when I was just down in doTERRA, when I couldn't see anything else beyond it. And I just felt so zapped because I wasn't functioning on a holistic approach. And I love this because I just love this so much. If you want more income coming in, you have to be willing to work on yourself and become more balanced. Become more rich in your spirituality. Become more rich in your understanding of how relationships works and how you can better mentor your team. Become richer and becoming more of a balanced holistic leader as opposed to just someone who's driving sales all the time. And I'm sure that you see this in your teams. The people who really have this openness to learning and developing who they are as a person are the ones whose businesses are flourishing. The people who are solely focused on the minuscule low vibration of selling product all the time are the ones who have a very hard time getting past those roadblocks. So time efficiency. What am I doing right now to get me closer to my goals? I wanted to just show you this quick video really fast because I really like this video, especially for people who are feeling a little bit stuck. Sometimes different times of our careers are going to pull different things. And I love this video by Eric Worre, who is kind of a network marketing guru. But I really, really liked this video because I think it exemplifies something that you can do very simply every day to help you get out of a funk if you're feeling a little bit stuck.
All out massive action, taking these radical, crazy, big goals, big numbers, big recruiting, big activity. But sometimes you just get stuck. If you've been around this profession for any period of time, there's sometimes we just lose momentum. And there's this thing called a lost day. Have you ever had a lost day? Here's what a lost day is. You get up, you get going, and then you start, maybe you turn on the television, and pretty soon it's a lost day. Or maybe you turn on your computer and you start scrolling on Facebook, and pretty soon it's a lost day. Whatever the distraction is, something happens, it gets in your way, and pretty soon a day turns into 3 days. The 3 days turn into a week. And those lost days can turn into lost months, which is lost opportunity. It's like your store, network marketing being your store being closed during those periods of time. So how do you avoid lost days? How do you break out of a slump? How do you get activity going at all? Not necessarily major activity, just getting some activity. What's worked for me and what I think will work for you. Sometimes you just need to do one thing. Sometimes, for example, you just need to say, today I'm going to set one appointment. That's all I'm going to do. And get that win, get that success, get that movement, activity. And then tomorrow you'll pick one thing again. And understand, if you just do one thing every day in the pursuit of the growth of your business, you're going to find yourself in a new rhythm. You're going to find yourself in a position of developing some momentum. And then you'll get enough belief, enough confidence, enough posture in order to be able to say, okay, now I'm going to do 2 things today. I'm going to do 3 things today. I'm going to do 4 things today, whatever that is. And those lost days will start to fade. Those lost weeks, those lost months will start to become part of your memory. So here's what I want you to pay attention to. Are you allowing lost days to accumulate without stopping them? Just notice, is that happening in your life, in your business? Okay? If it is, then adopt this method of just pick one thing and do one productive thing today, something that'll move you in the direction of your business and of your life, okay? And then once you get a little bit of momentum, then 2 things, and then 3 things. And pretty soon, you'll find yourself on track. Pretty soon, you'll find yourself productive. Pretty soon, you'll find yourself in momentum. And once you get the posture ready, then boom, go give it a major burst for a week or a month or 90 days in order to be able to create radical results and radical success in your business, okay? So I hope that helps you get unstuck. I hope that helps you eliminate those lost days, those lost weeks, those lost months that can plague distributor in network marketing, because you deserve success. You deserve the best. Sometimes you just got to break free of inactivity and just get some movement. So that's our show. Hope you got value from it. Ladies and gentlemen, my wish for all of you.
So the reason I share that with you is because I think it exemplifies something that happens in entrepreneurship is, like I said before, you think, okay, I have all these ideas, I have all these goals, and then you just get paralyzed by doing something. So maybe that's because you just feel like you have so much to do, or it's just really crazy, or you just need to put a little bit of parameters around your time so you can actually focus. Like, I know what it's like. I have a daughter who's 2.5. She's crazy. She's busy. When she's home, I get nothing done. Like, I don't even get the dishes sometimes done because it's this, and that, and the other. And we have no family here. I live, 30 hours away on the shortest plane ride to America. His family is in South Australia. So it's like a huge thing. So what I want to say to you is that it's a huge thing to really think about. How can you put more parameters around your time and be more efficient with your time? So when you're doing that, you need to set some boundaries around how much you work and not being available 24/7. When I first started with doTERRA, I was available 24/7, 365. I was, answering calls at all hours of the night. I was doing just crazy amount of work. And I literally could not unplug. I was just like a hamster in a wheel, just running as fast as I could. And then I just thought, no, this is ridiculous. So I have put parameters around my time. I don't work on Mondays and Fridays anymore if I can help it. And I'm really conscious of the amount of time I work on the weekends. So when I'm looking at, time efficiency, one of the things that can be really helpful if you have a lot of stuff you need to get done is to time block off things. So if you have an online calendar, a paper calendar, you time block off times when you can meet with people and also times when you can dream and prepare. So if I have, 3 or 4 hours where I need to get stuff done, then I just get stuff done. The other thing is also doing this is called the Pomodoro technique, which is where you work 20 minutes at a time. So you set your timer for 20 minutes, you turn off all of your social media, do not disturb, all of that, and you just work for 20 minutes on one task. So if you're working on a webinar or you're working on an ebook or you're working on, following up emails or doing anything, you just work for 20 minutes and then you take a 5-minute break, or 20 or 25 minutes. And then you set your timer, take a 5-minute break, etc. And then after you do that 4 times, you take a 15-minute break. So this can be really helpful. It's like, okay, for 25 minutes, I'm just going to work on just this, and that's it. And maybe you only have an hour a day where you can work where your kid is sleeping. So you say, okay, I'm going to do 25 minutes, take a 5-minute break, do 25 minutes and take a 5-minute break. And that gets you to an hour. And now you've worked really hardcore for 50 minutes on a project. And it's amazing when you're not being distracted by Facebook and emails and messages and Instagram, all of those things that distract us. You can actually get a hell of a lot done in 25 minutes when you're really focused on one task. So that's a really great thing to do if you're time poor. The other is, as if you can, is to really hire out help and outsource. So can you afford a PA? Can you afford to have a cleaner? Can you afford someone to come and nanny or babysit your kid for half a day where you can use those 3 hours really efficiently? What can you outsource and afford right now that's really going to help to alleviate the pressure or make you more efficient? Can be really, really helpful. The other is if you have a team or you're in a coaching situation or you have a larger team where you find it really difficult to plan all of the meetings with new people and leaders and all this type of stuff, is to get an online booking system for appointments. I use Calendly. You can use other online booking systems, but it's amazing. And ironically, when I give my team leaders that calendar link, they actually are more efficient and more committed to booking appointments with me, because then I don't have to say, oh, I'm available on this time, this time, this time. They just book an appointment and they're so much more effective. So I would highly suggest looking at getting a calendar system and pushing all of your appointments through a calendar system if it's appropriate for you. Automate your social media. That can be another huge time saver. So if you're constantly posting stuff, like if you're doing like where you're doing online classes or an online group, or you want to post stuff every single day in some sort of group on Facebook or Instagram, you can actually automate your social media through things like Hootsuite or SynShare or Synduit, or there's even some other like party plan ones that you can get. So you can automate your social media. If you don't want to buy one of those programs, you can even schedule social media posts on Facebook business pages. So if you have a Facebook business page, under the post section of that business page, There's an option to schedule posts. So you can sit down on a Sunday night and you can schedule out a whole entire week's worth of posts, and then you don't have to post every day if you don't want to. So just being really time efficient. And then the other one here is self-care. So we've kind of already talked about that, but I love this quote. You will never change your life until you change something you do daily. The secret of your success is found in your daily routine. So for me, that's literally putting my mobile phone in my office so I can't have it at nighttime, so that I can get up in the morning, work out, and I can go to bed without being distracted. That might be just mean that you decide to change the way that you eat, or it decides that you're not available all the time, or that you do something to change the way that you live every day so that you have a more balanced approach to life. Are you living in a place of fear, or are you living in a place of gratitude? I loved what Jennifer Moss said in her interview. She said, I always ask myself, is this decision a fear-based decision, or is it a love decision? If it's a fear-based decision, I don't do it. If it's based on love, I do it. And so one of the things that is really, really, really crucial is that you always live in a place of gratitude. I know that when I'm feeling burned out and I'm feeling really stressed, I go into really negative spaces and I don't live in a place of gratitude. If you're running your business out of fear and out of like, oh my God, 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 you have to make sure that you're always bringing yourself to gratitude. I'm so grateful for the fact that it's been a quiet month this month, so I can really sit down and nourish and spend time with my family. I'm really grateful that the next month is very busy and loaded with all these amazing opportunities to meet people, as opposed to, oh God, February is going to be so busy and I don't know how I'm going to do it, and it's going to screw my weight loss, it's going to screw my exercise routine. And January was so crap because no one enrolled and it was such a low month and I'm so terrified. It's the same month. It's the same things that you have. But when you come from it from a place of gratitude as opposed to a place to fear and frustration, your whole energy about how you think your business and how the vibration that you send through your body and the mental strain that you put on yourself will completely and totally change. Keep focused on business time, as we just talked about, and shift your living, letting go of what people think and cultivating authenticity, letting go of perfectionism and cultivating self-compassion, letting go of powerlessness and numbing, oh, I can just never do this, it never seems to be working, and moving into resilient spirit. Release scarcity and fear of the dark and move into gratitude and joy. Release the need for certainty and allow cultivation of intuition, intrinsic faith. Release comparison and cultivate creativity. Release exhaustion as a status of symbol and productivity as self-worth. How awesome is that? Oh my God, I'm so busy all the time and so exhausted. How about we just say that you can play and rest? It's been such a busy, awesome month. I'm so grateful. I'm so glad that I get this weekend off to enjoy rest and relaxation, as opposed to constantly thinking that in order to be successful, we have to be always exhausted and always busy. Release anxiety and be calm and still. Release self-doubt and put in work, in meaningful work. So what do you really love doing? Screw all the self-doubt and comparison, but what do you really love doing? Be creative in what gets you going. And let go of control and allow yourself to be a bit more free. And the most important part, I think, about this is about self-care. And self-care to me is sleep. That's how I do self-care. And I love this from Arianna Huffington. She was in Huffington Post and she wrote this book called Thrive. And I just love this. There's a video about her actually. We need to liberate ourselves from the tyranny of the fight or flight mechanism, and yet much of our life has actually been structured so that we live in an almost permanent state of fight and flight. Here comes another dozen emails calling out for a response. Must stay up late to finish the project. I'll just use these 4 minutes of downtime to return 6 more calls. I get it. Sometimes we have a season of really busyness, but you also need to release this constant need to be always fighting and flighting, because it's really not helpful and it won't help your business. And the last is family and friends. The things that I feel like as an entrepreneur get absolutely slammed and forgotten about because they're always going to be there. But that lead, that new amount of money, that new contact, that new class isn't going to be there. So I've got to chase that. I know my husband will always be there. My daughter will always be there. So they can just wait for me because I've got to go chase this lead and run this thing down or create this new idea. chase, chase, chase. Oh, they'll be there. And you know what? They won't be there. And I realized I was on the road a lot last year, and I realized that my life is a culmination of my success in my business and the success in relationships with my family. And it's very easy to be drawn down the path of just constantly workhorsing ourselves and forgetting about the people who are always going to be there. So remember that it is about having fun with friends and family. It is about being present when you're with your friends and family. I try now, whenever we go out on an excursion with my husband and my daughter, I actually leave my phone at home, because I know if I have my phone with me, I'm going to be on it. So I purposely leave my phone at home, or I let it die and don't charge it for the whole weekend. You utilize your downtime. Spend stuff with things that you love doing. Is it yoga? Is it going for walks? And you know what? It's so easy to not allow yourself to do those things because you feel guilty doing them. Oh my God, I could be answering 6 more phone calls, or writing that ebook, or doing another class, or playing another webinar. But really, you need to actually have that downtime. So utilize it to really nourish yourself. And do something. Plan a holiday. Even if you don't have tons of money, just go camping, or go to a friend's house somewhere else, or go somewhere that you really want to go that rejuvenates you. And I leave this with you today, this very last quote, which I think exemplifies everything that I just said to you. A social enterprise cannot go far without a healthy, energetic, social entrepreneur. So thank you guys so much for coming today. My intense apologies for it being late. I hope that it gives something for you, some food for thought to think about. And I really am grateful for the year ahead that you're going to create. So I really do thank you. I hope that you found something wonderful about this and something valuable in it for you. So thank you guys so much for your time.